Keep pounding. The Carolina Panthers have officially hit the most critical turning point of the 2026 offseason, and every fan needs to pay attention right now. Shout out to the loyal fans tuning in from Charlotte and beyond. You are the heartbeat of this franchise. As the calendar flips to June 1st, the financial landscape of our roster is shifting under our feet, creating massive opportunities for front office moves that were previously impossible. We are looking at a potential roster overhaul that could define our pursuit of a championship. Why does this specific date trigger such a frenzy for our team? Stay locked in, because I'm about to break down exactly who is on the hot seat and what this means for our Super Bowl aspirations. That decision revolves around the sudden flexibility the organization now possesses to reshape the locker room through post-June 1st roster adjustments. At the center of this conversation is Tommy Tremble, a tight end who has struggled to cement his status as a long-term starter here in Carolina. While he has been a mainstay in the lineup, his tenure is being heavily scrutinized as younger, hungry prospects like Mitchell Evans and Jatavian Sanders look to climb the depth chart during these crucial OTAs. The reality is that the Panthers have reached a point where holding on to veteran depth that isn't producing is a luxury we might not be able to afford. The financial math of cutting Tremble is stark. Moving on would clear significant breathing room on the salary cap, an essential step if we want to be aggressive in free agency or solidify other areas of the roster. However, simply having the financial room doesn't guarantee a departure. We have to ask ourselves if the potential savings outweigh the immediate loss of a known commodity at the position. With the coaching staff clearly prioritizing competition this summer, no player is safe from the chopping block. The team's philosophy is shifting, and the front office is no longer looking for players who are just good enough to fill a spot. They are looking for elite production, and that pressure is mounting on everyone, from the seasoned veterans to the sophomore projects. The question remains, is the organization ready to rip off the bandage and start fresh, or will they bank on internal development to carry us through the upcoming season? The discussion deepens when we turn our attention to Pat Jones, an edge rusher whose time with the team has been defined by lingering frustration rather than on-field impact. After missing almost the entire 2025 season due to injury, Jones is finally back on the field, but he finds himself in a crowded room where he is no longer the guaranteed disruptor he was signed to be. With Jalen Phillips, Nick Scorton, and Princely Umanmielen all vying for significant reps, Jones is facing an uphill battle to secure his place on the final 53-man roster. This is where the post-June 1st financial logic truly comes into play for the front office. By parting ways with Jones, the Panthers could reclaim nearly $5 million in cap space. In a league where every dollar counts toward building a championship-caliber team, that kind of liquidity is incredibly tempting for a general manager looking to upgrade other positions before training camp hits. Yet, it is not just about the money, it is about the vision for the defensive line. If the coaches believe that the younger talent behind Jones offers more upside and long-term durability, the decision becomes a no-brainer. But if they value the veteran experience he brings to the rotation, he might just survive the cut. We have to consider how this affects our pass rush, a unit that needs to be elite to compete in our division. If we let go of a rotational piece, do we have enough depth to survive the inevitable grind of a 17-game season? Or are we thinning ourselves out too much for the sake of salary cap math? Why this really matters to every fan watching right now goes far beyond simple contract negotiations or salary cap spreadsheets. This is about the future identity of the Carolina Panthers and our trajectory toward the postseason. Every move made in this window reflects the franchise's commitment to winning the Super Bowl, not just competing for a playoff spot. When you see names like Damian Lewis being discussed in potential cut scenarios, you realize just how desperate the team is to maximize their resources. Even though Lewis is arguably our best interior lineman, the mere fact that his name appears in these discussions shows that no contract is untouchable in this new era. This matters because if the leadership decides to prioritize cap space over proven talent on the offensive line, we are betting everything on the idea that we can find cheaper, effective solutions elsewhere. For us as fans, it creates a sense of uncertainty. We want stability, but we also want a winning product on the field. The impact on our offensive production, if we lose a high-level guard, would be catastrophic. making it a high-stakes gamble for the decision makers. We are at a crossroads where the front office must decide between protecting the current core or aggressively hunting for value. The ripple effect of these choices will be felt in every snap taken during the upcoming season. If we get this right, we become a legitimate contender. If we get it wrong, we risk stalling out before the season even truly begins. It is a defining moment for the franchise, and the pressure is at an all-time high. Looking closer at the offensive roster, we see a precarious situation involving Trevor Etienne, a player who finds himself in the crosshairs despite being just a second-year prospect. While Etienne has been tasked with return duties, the arrival of A.J. Dillon has completely changed the landscape of our running back room. If Etienne fails to distinguish himself as a versatile weapon during these intense OTA sessions, the team may decide that his spot is better served by someone who fits the current offensive philosophy more precisely. The financial savings here are modest, but this is a classic example of roster management trumping raw salary figures. It is about clearing space for players who can actually contribute to the game plan. The coaching staff is clearly looking for guys who can handle the workload and contribute in multiple phases of the game. If ATN can't prove he's more than just a placeholder in the return game, he is likely the first to be replaced by a more specialized player. This shift highlights how fluid our roster depth has become in 2026. Fans need to understand that the team is hunting for efficiency in every corner of the depth chart. It is not enough to just be on the team anymore. You have to be a specific cog in the machine. If you aren't providing value, you are taking up a spot that could be used for a player who actually impacts the scoreboard on Sundays. This ruthless approach is exactly what it takes to compete with the giants of the league, even if it feels cold-hearted to move on from developing talent. As we look ahead to the next few weeks, the tension within the organization is palpable. The Panthers are actively exploring every avenue to ensure that the roster we see in September is the strongest possible version of this squad. Whether it is the potential departure of veterans like Pat Jones, or the tough decisions regarding younger players like Trevor Etienne, every move is a calculated risk aimed at securing a Lombardi trophy. We are witnessing a fundamental shift in how this team handles its personnel, moving toward a results-only model that prioritizes championship readiness above loyalty to existing contracts. If you love this team, you know that this kind of change is often necessary to break through to the next level. We have the foundation, we have the talent, and now we are refining the pieces to make a serious run. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single update as these roster moves continue to unfold throughout the summer. It's an exciting time to be a fan, but it's also a time of high anxiety. Before we wrap this up, I want to hear your take on the most important move the team can make right now. Which player on this list are you most comfortable seeing the Panthers cut, or do you think they should hold on to everyone to maintain depth? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below, and keep the conversation going as we count down to the start of the season. Keep pounding.